going to answer two questions. The lady over here said everybody getting along. It goes back to what I talked about a minute ago about being a freshman congressman. The last time I traveled to Washington with the Citizens for Space to promote the space program, something happened that had never happened to me before on Capitol Hill. I met moderate Republicans. Never heard that before in my life. Hi, I'm a moderate Republican. Well, you know, the senator's a moderate Republican. Well, I'm sure there are conservative Democrats as well. And I think that I believe in the hands across the aisle caucus, and that's where Republicans and Democrats that are both of the conservative nature do work together to promote the common good of the state of Texas and the United States of America. So there is a little of both in each party. So I agree with you. Going up as just a Republican and screaming and hollering and not compromising at all is not a way to get involved if I'm elected to go up there and do that. To answer the question about Obamacare, I don't know anybody in this room that doesn't want to repeal it, throw it in the trash can, get rid of it, so it's not really worth talking about. I can only go by my own experience. My own experience happened this last April. My mother is 80 years old, and she's a 22-year cancer survivor. And last April, everything finally caught up with her, the chemo treatments and everything, and she laid in the hospital, and they told us a couple of times just to go ahead and take a right and go to the funeral home instead of taking a left to come to the hospital. Well, my mother's a fighter, and I talked to her before we got here tonight, and she's made a full recovery. But I learned a whole lot of things when I was with her in rehab and with her at the hospital. Now, I'm 58, and I'm going to be crossing this bridge at some time in the future. It's going to be sooner than later. And these are some of the concerns that I have to address the gentleman's question over here a little earlier about no one had talked about Medicare or Medicaid. Let me tell you the problem there. This whole system of Medicare and Medicaid needs to be streamlined. It's too much paperwork. It needs to be less tedious. The in-facility rehabilitation should continue after the 180-day period. My mother was making great progress in the 180 days, and they said, well, sorry, your time's up. You got to go. So then we said, well, what do we want to do? And they said, well, you know, we're combining wealth now. Your stepfather of 35 years has $150,000 saved up, and your mother has $50,000 saved up. So we're going to put those together. Now you got $200,000. We're going to spend you down till you're completely done, and spend you down until you only have spend you till you have $15,000 left. And as long as you're alive and in good health, you can keep the house and everything else. But if you get sick, then we're going to spend you down to $15,000, and you're going to have to sell your house, and you're going to have to sell this, and you're going to have to sell that. There's something wrong with that, people. Seriously wrong with that. The redistribution of wealth between a living husband and wife needs to stop. You know, you shouldn't have to count your personal property or your homestead as part of your estate. If you've worked hard and you've paid it off, and you want to have something to give to your children, or you want to do whatever you want to with it. And most of all, the 5-year waiting period of being able to transfer any of these things, to put them into anything that will protect you, they snuck that right in on all of us. It started out as, well, it had to be a year. Then it had to be 3 years. Now my mother at 80 years old has to wait she has to be healthy for 5 more years. Or she stands to lose everything that she's accumulated in her lifetime. Obamacare is not any good. The Medicare, Medicaid, Medicare system and how we are looking at treating our people that are getting older is a shame. We should be ashamed of ourselves as Americans. And that's all I have to say. It just bothers me at night, and thank goodness, hope my mother lives for at least 10 more years. Thank you.